Welcome, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to Friday, my friends. Welcome to Friday. Put some of this on. No, that's not what I wanted. This. Is it just going to keep doing that? I think so. Maybe. I don't know what that is. I kind of like that, whatever it is. All right. So let's hope that the volume and everything goes through okay. I had to do a lot of editing with the volume before.
It's not exactly clear whether they even truly exist.
So, welcome. I'm still a little bit scatterbrained. Last night I took a nap yesterday instead of working out because, well, I was tired. Like, after I finished the stream, I felt totally beat. You know what I mean? I'm going to turn down my reception of that so it doesn't get all messed up. Yeah, so I definitely was a little like, I'm sorry, this is there we go. I want it audible, but I don't want it like blaring. Yesterday I was very, very tired, and I was like kind of thrown off by it. I had a couple of nights of like just really weird sleep, and I'm still getting used to a new schedule, and just working a lot and trying to take care of business stuff. Things happen, right? And like last night I was just laying in bed. I couldn't fall asleep for a couple hours, so like I just kind of laid there and hung out, and probably, well, I said a couple hours, but it kind of felt like that. It was more like an hour or so, I would say, 45 minutes to an hour ish. But I was kind of just laying there and thinking about stuff and just chilling. And lately I have this thing where like just things pop into my mind last minute. And I know it's a part of like journaling, and it's a part of like doing stuff like that to get it out of your head. But in this whole routine that I've been working on, it's just hasn't been the way it needs to be, I guess. It hasn't, I haven't been doing it as much as I need to, which I will get back to. But my main goal has been the stream, the podcast, the YouTube videos and stuff like that. And, just really putting that stuff to work and trying to get that stuff established so that I can work harder on getting things done and getting the information out that I want to get out and stuff like that. So it's all good stuff. I might be tired a little bit, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's worth it, and it's going to be very worth it. My horoscope actually told me so. I want to see if I could actually share that real quick, because let me just turn this off. I want to see if I could share that real quick of what my horoscope actually said. Let's see if it'll load up. I think it's the same horoscope. Was it this one or was it yesterday? What was it? Where did I find... There was something... I don't actually see it right now. I was going to share the screen, but I don't actually see the thing that I thought I saw before. Where it was basically saying, like, I have a bunch of important decisions right now, and to take advantage of how things are going now and take advantage of the time that I have to work on things now, because soon it's going to be like within a year or so, it's going to be a lot more happening, you know? And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like the type of person I am, I'm like, bring it on, bro. Let's go. You know what I mean? Could be good, could be bad. Who knows? But, you know, I'm not the type of person to shy away from challenges like that. And that might be very good things because, like, when you start reaching levels of success, you know, in like say in my goals, that's what I'm expecting that it's about. You know, I don't know 100%. It could be something crazy and negative, but I'm trying to stick with the positive. And you know, it to me it's like saying you know, things are going to get crazy because you're going to start getting busy or you're going to start, you know, sorry, my phone's very distracting and like it was messing up really bad just now and I have to make sure the monitor's on. So, you know, saying that business is going to pick up, things are going to get crazy. So start getting the things in order that I want to get in order now because I will have even less time soon in the future. Now, whatever that means, I'm expecting the best. I'm hoping for the best. I'm kind of on the side expecting it to go either way, if that makes any sense. But I'm trying to put the best first, right? That might mean something, you know, who knows? It might be, you know, something possibly negative with, you know, who knows? Family, friends, in-laws, things that are going to go crazy in the future. Who knows? You know, there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of chaos in the world right now. And, you know, it could mean anything. But I'm taking it as a positive where things might get crazy because things are going to finally start coming together and falling into place. Maybe not, but who knows? You know, always try to keep both sides if we can. Yeah, so I got that message and it said just hammer down and take care of what you can now, and that's what I plan on doing. That's exactly what I've been doing. And I've been kind of like, man, maybe I should take this time to just rest and, you know, whatever. And it was funny because I checked that right after I had that thought process, and that was kind of like, nope. Get to work, kid. But yeah, so we're gonna finish up the week talking about anger. You know, that has been the theme of the week. Monday, I talked about kind of the introduction to what I wanted to discuss with the whole situation. So yeah, sorry, I'm very distracted. I have a lot going on today. Monday was talking about what the format of the week was going to be and talking about anger in general and how to reframe our thought process about it a little bit. And I shared the video. Tuesday was Try Hard Tuesday to try to rework how you address anger in the moment where things could be happening or whatever's going on, and to really try to notice your triggers and address when your anger is happening. You're going to see a little bit more of that today. And Thursday was Wednesday. I had to do floors, so we didn't do any whacked out stuff. Thursday was Throwback Thursday. We talked about how memories can kind of get askew, especially when emotions are involved, and you know what we can do about those. The way we remember them, the way we understand them, the things that we do to address those or to deal with those, for lack of a better term. And today we're going to sum it all up. Today we're going to talk about... Sorry, just give my camera a chance to catch up. Today we're going to talk about kind of the summary of everything. And as the theme of Fix It Friday, we're going to talk about how to address that and how to fix it. And now... Sorry, let me just pull up my notes. So we're going to talk about, you know, how the ending to this whole segment is, you know, you kind of combining all the information that we've gathered so far and all the things that we put together so far about anger and really pull them into one workable scenario. And the way that I have chose to work through my anger is to understand and address it and work with it instead of trying to fight against it, right? So working through and fixing your anger can be anything to anybody. It can mean so many different things, but my thing is that I feel like anger has such a positive energy to it and such a strong, powerful energy. And I feel like it's something that really needs to be tapped into the proper way and expressed the proper way in order to facilitate your better self. And we're going to kind of go through that. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Sorry, I'm very, that same thing. I'm not congested, but I'm kind of like feeling stuffy. I don't know. But we're going to work through seeing your anger in a different light. That's my goal, behind this entire week, because I don't want you to be afraid of it, and I don't want you to hate it, and I don't want you to, think negatively about it. It can be a negative emotion if it's not expressed in the right way. But as I said before, it can be a very, very powerful thing. The main aspect that people have a hard time with is seeing it in a positive light. It's hard to accept that something that's often seen and felt as being so destructive can actually be a really, really good thing. As stated in the book, The Upside of Your Dark Side, Why Being Your Whole Self, Not Just Your Good Self, Drives Success and Fulfillment, by Tude Kashtan and Robert Biswas Diner. I don't know if I butchered that or not. I apologize if I did. It states that anger is best viewed as a tool that helps us read and respond to upsetting social situations. Also, as I referred to it in previous episodes, by now, or also as I referred to it previously, by now we're all, or blah. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to read from my notes and script this out properly for this show later on. I'm an amateur, so you notice. By now, all or most of us know that repressing anger is really bad. From explosive reactions to negative self-experiences, the regression of anger has so many negative side effects that can take years to undo the damage of. It can take, so long to undo the emotions and the negativity that's behind the repression and the explosions and stuff like that. Instead of taking that painful process, proper understanding of an expression seems to be the appropriate way to go, yielding the best results when it comes to working with or quote unquote fixing anger. So some things that people don't often think about as we address is anger is one serious form of learning your own boundaries. It's about learning self-love and acceptance. They're all byproducts of working with anger. And how we begin to accomplish these things is, I have to say, first and foremost, stop beating yourself up over it. Your anger is an emotion, your anger is an energy, and your anger is a vibe that is trying to tell you something. And, because there's such a negative stigma behind it, you have a misunderstood conception of what it is. A misunderstood concept of what it is. I'm sorry. And you won't get anywhere by not giving yourself the love and understanding to take this task on. You need to give yourself the respect and the love that you deserve. You deserve a break and you deserve a better life. And that's not by avoiding anger, repressing anger, hiding it, whatever you want to call it. It's by learning how to properly express that. The best part is, and this is one of the hardest parts, if not the hardest part out of the entire process, the beginning, the beginning step, the very first step, the scariest step, because you know that beyond this step, or beyond this plateau, as I like to reference the Legends of Zelda and the Power Rangers, if you know what I'm talking about, hit up that comment box and let me know. The Power Rangers idea specifically, but also the Legends of Zelda. Which game, which episode, series, or movie from the Power Rangers or whatever, and from Zelda, let me know where you think that's from, because I'm interested to see who's going to pick up on that. Beyond this plateau, there's a whole new life ahead of you. I spoke a bit during Try Hard Tuesday's episode previously about recognizing your triggers, and that this can happen after the fact, in the moment, and when you get more and more into this journey. before the situation actually starts happening or actually occurs, or when you notice, beginning signs, what we call warning signs in the behavior modification community. And doing that allows you to correctly address these emotions and properly communicate to reach a better alternative in the end, right? And it's something going back to what's better for everybody, and not just what's better for everybody and not just you. It's better for everybody around you, even though this process is mainly concerned with you. Sorry, just double checking that there's nothing horribly important going on. Okay. Again, going back to Tuesday's episode, wherever you are in the process, respect and appreciate that you even just recognize your feelings and you recognize what's going on. That's what ultimately begins this whole process. From there, it's just a matter of trying to reach the awareness and alter your path sooner and sooner and sooner as you notice these things come up. I spoke a lot about forgiveness and self-love, and talking about, being stressed out about not recognizing it sooner. And you will get there. You will start, even if it's after the fact, even if you have to make your apologies or explain yourself away or talk to people or whatever, eventually you'll get to the point where you don't need to do that, because you will take the lead on everything that's going on within your situation. You will get in full control of your anger, your rage, whatever you're feeling. And it starts with just this step. It starts with, even after the fact, if you just realize that you were angry and take a minute to really accept and understand what's going on and just think about it and say, well, this is what made me angry. That's a beginning stage. And then you'll work your way to, wow, this emotion was buried under this whole situation. I felt embarrassed, or I felt, ashamed, or I felt this or that, or whatever. I felt like I wasn't being heard. You'll work to that, and you'll start understanding that those are tied in closely with the situation that made you angry. And that's what it is about boundaries, is that sometimes they're so blurred and they're so hard to. It's funny because the song that just came on is called Abstraction. These boundaries can be very abstract. When I was talking to my therapist about anger one day, we kind of discovered that I don't really see things as boundaries. How people talk about there being white and gray, or white and black, and then there's that gray line in between. And, I'm like, me being the person that I am, I can zoom out and see that the picture, like I use the yin and yang symbol as an example. I can zoom out and see that yin yang symbol, but I can also zoom in and see almost like a mosaic view of all the components of like the yang pictures that make up yin. You know what I mean? It's a hard concept to grasp, and it took us a very long time to talk about it and figure out what exactly I was saying, because I talk in a lot of metaphors a lot. But that's how I see a lot of things. I don't think anything's exactly concrete, and that's how I see boundaries as well. Sometimes there's a little give, there's a little take. It's got to be flexible. It's got to be, pliable. It's got to be not so rigid. You know what I mean? In some respects, some things cannot be allowed, right? But where your perfect balance is with those boundaries and those things like that when you start getting a deeper understanding of yourself, and this is the first part of that. So speaking specifically about anger control, so many different methods of anger control can help with this. And I say control in the way of working with, not repressing, again, not hiding, not trying to avoid, but in working with your anger. That's what I mean when I say control. What I found most helpful in this entire process was breathing. Like I talked about it a lot on Tuesday, in moments of my kids stressing me out, or in moments of, somebody in a relationship stressing me out, or, my family stressing me out. I can't even begin how to describe how difficult it is, yet how simple it can be at the same time. Anytime you're feeling any sort of extreme way or extreme emotion, or, something that's just not settling right with you for whatever reason. Anytime you're feeling that extreme way, there's usually a sigh of some kind, right? Even when you're hyped up, you're like, blah, blah, blah. Cool. You know, like there's always that moment somewhere built into that. And that was my moment to cling on to. And because I started recognizing that as a moment of my body's trying to tell me something. My body and my mind are coming together to try to make me take that breath for some reason. And like I said, it can happen on good emotions as well as bad emotions, quote unquote, bad emotions. So it's your body trying to tell you something. And the key is to try to tap into what that is. Sometimes it's just taking advantage of that breath and saying, this is what I need right now. Let's take another one. You know, even if it's just a one extra breath, it's so important to just take advantage of that moment. Because in that breath, every breath you take after that is going to be calmer and calmer, more level-headed, more clear-minded, right? Take it as a moment of awareness that, you know, your body's trying to tell you something, and attempt to look into what it is without malice, without judgment, without contempt, and without any sort of, negative aspect to it with looking at yourself. You know, it's a really intrinsic moment that you can get very close to, looking deep inside and figuring out what's going on. Look at it with love, respect, and, for both yourself and your needs. Obviously, there's many different ways about doing it. There's many different ways about, learning to work with your anger and, trying to get control of it. That's not the only way to do it. Even though that has worked for me, there's 100 other different ways that, you can kind of figure out to work through it. But the main basic parts are what we're going to talk about right now. It's other ways of becoming more aware of, getting deeper into the core of, and understanding how best to express your anger. The first thing I want to talk about is to communicate your state of being. But, and this is a big but, this can be really, really tricky, because if there's that angry emotion there and you feel that energy there, your first instinct is usually to act on a defensive measure, right? And to kind of almost attack somebody or attack something, right? So what you say could be razor sharp, and you need to be aware of that. It could cut somebody, and you could regret that later on. This step can investigate negative feedback or responses. I'm sorry, I said investigate. This step can instigate negative feedback or negative responses, so just use it with caution. You want to make sure not to blame or insult or instigate the other party. Like I said, your tongue becomes a razor blade. You may not be in the correct state of mind, so you want to just watch what's going on. My recommendation, personally, if you're going to take that route, would be to say something like, I'm insert some emotion involved, such as livid, angry, frustrated, something specific and descriptive. You can even say pissed off. I'm pissed off. I'm livid. I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, whatever you feel clearly describes your state of mind in the moment. So I'm angry, I'm livid, I'm frustrated, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm whatever right now, and I need some time. Because that way, you're not blaming anybody, you're not taking responsibility for anything, you're only taking the responsibility for your feelings and your needs at that time. And even though even that could instigate some negative response, you're still looking out for you, and you're beginning the process of building up that boundary, saying, this is how I feel, this is what I need. And that's it. There's no blame, no putting your feelings onto anyone else. There's only what you feel and what you need. There's the opportunity for somebody to come back at you, and I think that's a moment to kind of take into yourself and realize, okay, there's something else going on here, but also understanding that that's not your problem. It sounds kind of cold the way that comes out, but that is not your problem in that moment. Your best result is going to come from you walking away from that situation, if that's what you need, or just getting a chance to relax, throw some headphones on, calm down, take a deep breath, and trust me, no matter how hard it feels in that moment, no matter how much resistance you might get, when you come back and revisit the situation, there's a whole new level of clarity, not just for you, but for the other party or whatever else is going on. So definitely take that time if that's the route you're going to go. There's tons of different ways to just even use breathing as to help out. There's diaphragmatic breathing, where you practice expanding and contracting your diaphragm slowly and deeply. So one step that I was trained to do in breathing like this was to initiate a meditative state. And it was just to, let me move this out of the way before I knock this over. It was just to couple up your hands like so and put them over your belly area where your stomach / diaphragm is about. And you start feeling just your diaphragm expanding, and you want to expand this part of your belly outwards. I don't know if the camera can see this, but you just want to expand your diaphragm outwards and expand it wholly, like expand it as full as you can. Just a deep breath, inhale and exhale. That's all you have to focus on. That's the basis of diaphragmatic breathing. There's yogic breathing. I don't know what the official term for that is, I should say, but that's what I remember it as. And it's basically you cover one nostril. It could be the left or the right. I think there's once you get further into it, there's specific ways to do it, but I always just remember it as whichever one feels right to you. You cover up one nostril, you breathe in through one, you switch which nostril you're covering, and you breathe out through the other. And you count a couple of seconds, 2 or 3 seconds for each breath. Just take it nice and slow. And you can even do that if you have allergies, if you're sick, if you have a stuffy nose, whatever. It's a way to calm your body down. It's called third eye breathing, where you close your eyes and instead of plugging your nose, you just envision the sensation of breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your breathing in through your one nostril and breathing out through your other, and kind of envisioning the course that the breath would take through your sinuses. You could do this even if you're a mouth breather, or even if you have a hard time breathing through your nostrils for whatever reason, you can do this that way. Even as you take a deep breath through your mouth, just focus your vision on, or your feelings on, your sinuses. So that was third eye breathing. And one of my favorite ones was introduced to me through Dr. Andrew Weil, Weil, W-E-I-L. From my training at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. It was introduced to me through Dr. Weil. It's called the 4-7-8 breath. This is where you purse your lips, so you get that purse going, and you exhale as much as you can until your lungs are completely empty. You inhale for a steady count of 4. You hold for 7 seconds, and you exhale for 8 seconds. And repeat this process roughly 4 times. So what you're gonna do is he specifies make a whooshing sound, make a noise. So exhale everything. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Repeat that 4 times. So it takes a couple of tries once in a while. You should be able to do 2 or 3 cycles. The 4th one is the most challenging one. And what that breath actually does is it puts you in this weird kind of consciousness, weird kind of state of mind. He even in our lecture about it, he even talked about it, and he's like, He stopped the lecture and he's like, I don't even want to talk right now. He's like, I don't even want to talk to anybody right now. I'm in such like a mellow calm state of mind that I just don't want to talk, you know? And he was honest about it. So that's good. But I used the breath before, and it's definitely changes your perspective. And finally, a good old-fashioned deep breath, which kind of goes back to the diaphragmatic breathing, but even if it's in the chest, just something. You know, just something to kind of give your body that feeling. Obviously, breathing has to lead into meditation in most terms, but I'm talking about meditation as a separate thing because it can feel very different from person to person. So, like in more meditative terms, things such as repeating positive, calming mantras, like everything is okay, it'll be fine. You know, people do that kind of self-talk all the time. And I think most people do it without really paying attention to it. And the key is to pay attention to it. I hear it every day, but I think people do it more expressively and they don't receive what the energy behind that is. So just pay attention to when you do that. Whatever is comfortable or meaningful to you. It doesn't have to be those words. It can be anything. Whatever is comfortable and meaningful to you. It could be fuck it. It could be whatever. As long as it means something to you and it's something you're going to hold on to and be able to grasp. There's also visualizing along that same kind of mindset, which mantras can lead into, or mantras can put you at a place like I'm at a beach. I'm at, something like that. But visualizing is more along the lines of, putting a scene into your head of a place where you want to be that activates your calm. Are you calmest at the beach? Are you calmest in the forest? Are you calmest at a rock metal concert? You know what I mean? Whatever that calm, peaceful, happy environment is for you, go there. Go there in your mind. Be aware of your surroundings, obviously, because that could be a problem. But go there in your mind and just remind yourself that there is a happy place. It can be visualizing itself can be problematic for someone like me who experiences 100 different intrusive thoughts per second. And I mean that quite literally. I've had so many instances where, trying to meditate and all of a sudden Neo from the Matrix pops into the scene that I'm meditating on or I'm trying to focus on and starts fighting a bunch of people or whatever. Like my mind can go nuts sometimes, and it's really intense to try to get a hold of it in those moments of trying to collect myself, right? But if it's a thing that works for you, I would say practice it as much as you possibly can. That's what I've done, and I've become worlds better at it. I'm not a pro. I am not a monk. I am not anything like that. But I can now visualize something and get mostly full control over the entire scene for a pretty good extended amount of time. And I'm able to kind of observe the thoughts that are going on in the background rather than letting them become intrusive thoughts, if that makes any sense. Also, I want to take this minute to talk about a video game that I actually have played before. It's called Plane, Playne. It's actually a video game that goes quite in depth at teaching you meditative practices. One of the things that I like most about it, you could track your progress. You could track how long you do it. You could do it with guided meditation or without, or with half guided, whatever. You could do it without noise. You could do it in so many different ways. The game's fully customizable. It's available on Steam. I'm not sure where else it's available, but I'm sure if you Google Playne, the game, or the meditation game, it'll come up and you'll see the available options for it. It might be available on consoles and things like that. But one of the things I liked about it is it had the option that when you have an intrusive thought, one way that you can actively dismiss it is you can click a button. What I would do was click a mouse button. But you can click a button and it would just record it, and that was kind of its way of letting you release that thought into the universe, so to speak. And the cool thing about that is after you're done meditating, you can track how you're progressing with your meditation. You can fully track that. So like I went from 173 clicks to 70-ish clicks during a 10-minute meditation practice. You know what I mean? I just think it's cool. I think it's a great idea to have an interactive video game like that, where that teaches you important skills like that. And there's also other scenario games like, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know there's very meditative games that you actively engage with. Like you're aware and you're playing a video game, but it's very calming and it's very meditative and storytelling. There's a bunch of those on there. So if you guys are interested, let me know. I can put together a list of recommendations for that kind of stuff. Just, put it in the chat box or whatever you feel like you need to do, and let me know what's going on. Obviously, there's somebody that needs to be blocked. I apologize for that intrusion. But the meditation games are definitely something that's newer, and I think it's very cool because you have sound clips, you have music to meditate to, you have visuals that people put on. Even in the tech world, people put together these elaborately lighted rooms where it's just a calm mood, and those lights have become very, like the snowflake lights or the wall mounted lights or whatever. Even the lights that I have down here, I'm using the bright versions, but they have like slip covers to change the colors, and LED lights that can alter the colors and go along with music, and it's to create that trancing sort of environment, So going back to the visualization part, just envision yourself in a calm and relaxing environment that you can build on. And that's one thing also, to refer back to the video game, that I liked about playing, is that as you, the storyline goes that as you meditate, you rebuild this world. And all of a sudden you start seeing more trees grow. You start seeing water flow more clearly. You start seeing animals going around and stuff like that. And it's not in an intrusive way, which is pretty cool. But it's the same sort of concept. You're at a beach. Okay, now what does that beach look like? Who's on that beach? Is it just you? Is it animals? Is it something else? What does the sand look like? What do the waves look and feel and sound like? You don't have to do it all in the first shot, but you can expand on your environment in that world that you're visualizing. And that is a way to exercise these new neural pathways to build this resilience, to build this process into your natural reactions. Of course, I'm going to mention meditation further as well. There's so many different types of meditations, like I said a couple of minutes ago, depending on the type of person that you are. But I'll talk about more forms of it later because I think it's more related to other types of things. Let me just take a little sip of water. As in kombucha water. I miss kombucha for so long, and I love it. Very good. Very, very good. All right. Back to it. So, and if there's anything you guys want to talk about, let me just take this little interlude to address you guys directly. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about, feel free to throw it up in the chat, to come and hang out, and to talk about this stuff, man. I might be going through my spiel like I've said every episode so far, or most of the episodes. But if I see something come up in chat and, it's a question or a suggestion or something we're talking about, I will pick up on it eventually, and we'll talk about it, we'll chat about it, or anything in the socials or the Discord or anything like that. Keep the conversation going. So getting back to it, another form of addressing and working with your anger in the moment is another way to kind of deal with stopping it and understanding it. Stopping the train. Change your surroundings. Change your surroundings. And this can be a really big one, because in the more aggressive types, or the more I don't want to say like violent, but like the more aggressive types of angry situations, or maybe somebody's not being as receptive as you need them to be in that moment, this is an important step. It's about getting yourself out of that situation, right? And maybe revisiting it. Maybe just getting a quick, change of scenery, for example. But it can be a huge one. It coincides with walking away. And like I just said, I don't mean to avoid the situation, simply that you can revisit it later. Maybe the environment isn't making you feel better, or maybe it's adding to your stress, or actually causing your stress, depending on your situation, right? Changing your immediate surroundings can dramatically change the outcome of the situation. You may not know it, but there might be something about the environment that stresses you out, and the only way to change that in that moment is to go outside. Go sit outside for a couple of minutes. Go for a walk. A nature hike, if you're around somewhere where you can do that. Or just switch up to a completely different environment. If you're in a calm, peaceful environment, or you're at home, go to a mall where you can watch people, or where you can, check out the stores, or walk around, or experience other things, If you're in a busy environment, or, you're at work or something crazy, throw up some scenery on your computer, or look out the window, or go outside for 2 whole seconds, or, whatever you need to do for just a little bit. That switch up gives you an immediate break from the situation, and that's the point. It allows for almost an immediate yet positive system shock to change your mindset. It's almost like jumping into cold water. You know what I mean? That's an immediate change of body temperature, and your body reacts to that by entering the state of like, whoa, and then you feel better. So that's what this is. So, this instigates. That's what this brings about, is that sort of immediate change that you need in that moment. Regardless of how angry you feel, you'll start to notice a dramatic difference. Even if it doesn't all go away right away, you will notice a dramatic difference. As we talked about before, knowing your triggers is a huge, astronomically healthy, helpful in working with your anger, and it's a huge thing to pursue. It takes time. Refer back to anything that I've ever said about breaths and mindfulness and meditation and things like that, being in the moment, but it is incredibly worth it, because you can change the situation in your favor by being in control of how you respond and the type of energy you give to the situation, right? So if you're not going to feed negative energy into it, you're not going to get back negative energy. And even if you do, it's not continuously reciprocating that energy, or not continuously cycling that energy. It's stopping it at you, and that's what you have control of. A helpful tool to do this part of it is, like I've talked about before, writing, drawing, listening to music, and just being aware of the emotions, the feeling, and eventually the meaning. Being aware of the emotions, the feeling, and eventually the meaning behind what happened that's associated with these things, with these situations. You may not notice it right away. You may draw 50 pictures, and you may look back on it on that 50th day and be like, oh my God, all of these have this in common. I wonder what this means. And then that starts the process of understanding it. Even if you don't feel like there's any progress being made, there is. The other form of meditation that I wanted to bring up, especially because it's more helpful for me, is the physical kind. And this, I think, will help out a lot of people who experience a lot of anger and a lot of rage in a lot of situations. It's the physical kind. Exercise, hitting a punching bag, lifting, running, even yoga in some cases, if that's your thing. Whatever it takes to let you feel your anger and let you release it in a way that won't be detrimental to anyone or anything. Even if you associate negative feelings with that expression, like I originally thought, I'm like, I don't want to hit a punching bag every time I'm angry. That's going to teach me that that's the only way to let it out. And that's not entirely true. It's all about adding that to your mindful practice. It's about going and hitting the punching bag until you're like, you're done and you're ready. And then you can go back and just observe the thoughts that you're experiencing while hitting that bag. If you're mindful enough, in the moment, experience the thoughts that you're experiencing while hitting that bag. It's not necessarily envisioning yourself hitting somebody. It's just releasing energy. You know what I mean? And if it is yourself envisioning hitting somebody, then maybe you need to address in your mind what about that person is instigating this feeling within you. And not in a blameful way, like I said before, but how can you go about changing your power over the situation, your reaction over the situation? So yeah, even if you associate negative feelings with it, like even embarrassment, for example, just know it'll pass. It'll pass as your understanding of it grows. It goes back to what I said before too, about respecting and not judging and loving yourself and realizing that this is your process to become a better version of yourself. This is your evolution. Your happier life with anger is on the other side of that curtain of shame or embarrassment or whatever you feel about your expressing it. Once you're comfortable in your expression of it, that curtain gets lifted. It gets completely taken away in a happy and healthy way. And some of this may not seem like ways immediately to work with anger, but the thing is that anger is much deeper than it seems. That's why it feels like it has so much power over you in that moment. These are ways of leading into taking care of it by knowing where it comes from, and you get a better idea of how to learn and grow and ultimately learn that anger is a power that you were just not able to tap into properly, right? Like we keep saying, it's telling you something. There's a power to it, and it can be your power to work with and to kind of usher you into a better way of life. There's only 3 things that I can recall that you shouldn't do, and that's cause harm to somebody or something, use chemicals, or hold it in. Those are the most dangerous things you can possibly do. But I smoke weed to help myself calm down. Why do you need to smoke weed to help yourself calm down? That's something to look at. And I'm not judging. I'm not saying that it's, a bad thing to smoke or a bad thing to drink or whatever. You do you. I'm saying to alleviate emotional responses, using chemicals is not ideal, because that's where addiction comes from. And that's where, that's where the chemicals being the only way to feel better come from. And eventually you'll find that they cause more problems than they were worth in the first place. So that's my advisement on that. You do you. Just saying, in terms of anger and emotion, it's not the best response. So to finish this up, this whole week, this whole episode, this will be your entryway into an entirely new understanding about how to use the energy that we call anger to your advantage. There's a power behind that feeling. In general, the people who have the biggest issue with anger are those who simply don't know how to harness it in a beneficial way. This is your beginning. This is your chance to take on the task of bettering yourself for no one other than yourself. Once you do that, everything else will fall into place, because changing your life starts with you, and you're worth it. That's the most important part to remember about all of this. I'm going to cut into doing a little sign off for the episode, but I'm not leaving quite yet, so stick around. So let me just close this out and prepare this little portion of it. That's so weird. I wonder why that's not coming up properly. Did I hit the wrong button? No, it says album cover. I wonder why. That's weird. So up here, I got distracted. Up here where it says the track information in the upper left-hand corner, it's also supposed to come up with the album artwork, because I feel like all the things that are associated with the music attribution and stuff like that, you should know the artist, you should know the song, you should know, the artist behind their album covers. I feel like all of that should be appreciated, so I included that. I'm just not sure why it's not coming up. So this has been the week about anger. We've talked a little bit here and there about all the different stuff associated with anger, how to see it in a different light, how to work with it, how to recognize your triggers, and how to understand and appreciate that how you remember anger might not be how it actually was. Or it might have been, and it's just something that you have to learn and grow and work through. And that's the biggest part about dealing with anger, as I've repeated 150,000 times. One of the biggest steps is to stop that train. You can do it. You are the Spider-Man. You can stop that train in its tracks, and you can redirect its flow. You can save the people on that train. You can rebuild the tracks. You can create an entirely different new track for the train to follow. It doesn't always have to be the same result every time that you're dealing with when it comes to anger. It can change. And I appreciate you guys for checking out this episode. Please let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you have anything to share with me, also follow me on my socials. Also check out the Discord. The link to everything is going to be in the description down below. And I'll talk to you guys again next week. That was the outro. So I'm going to stop that recording right there. All right. So, welcome, guys, to the real stuff. There it is. So I just reloaded the overlay, so maybe that's what it needed to pop the artist information up in there. But so how's everybody's weekend gonna go, huh? How is everybody doing? This chat's been so dead recently. I feel like with my switch up from how I used to do the gaming stuff and whatever, I feel like my switch up has definitely caused a change in viewership. And I've been checking in with some other streamers and stuff, and communicating in the background on my socials about different streams and different people that I've associated with and things like that. Moon Eaters hasn't been around. I checked in with him. I haven't gotten a response back yet, but just to see what was going on and how he's doing. And Andrea pops in once in a while to say hi, but she's very busy with her master's degree, becoming I believe it was a psychotherapist. I think I keep saying that, but I'm not 100% sure. But whatever she is, she will be it. She's very cool. Yoda underscore Andrea, if you want to check out her Twitch at all. She also has a Discord channel as well. But yeah, I know that this is the right way for my stream to go and for the community to grow properly. And I say properly meaning the way I feel like it's meant to. If I want to develop the community of growth, I was getting a lot of outside static and a lot of outside just random people, hey, I followed your Twitch, follow me back, like that type of stuff. I'm not interested. What I am interested in is in growing with like-minded streamers and like-minded YouTube folks and like-minded podcasters and like-minded health coach and wellness coaches and things like that. I'm looking to grow for the sake of everybody, and I want to include everybody in my community, and that's why I'm so picky about who I follow, who I promote, who I do anything like that with. And that's why one of the reasons why I changed the theme of the channel is because every once in a while we are going to play video games and we are going to hang out. We're just going to chill and we're talk and do whatever we can do, you know what I mean? But I didn't want my stream to be about just the games. I feel like this is a very important venture that I can take on and that I can use to help people out. So I wanted to take that seriously and come up with a more me style environment. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm happy I'm doing it. I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying it. This week has been a little bit rough too. Last week the new format started. This week I'm kind of getting my personal schedule together and doing the housework that we've been doing and doing all that stuff. I'm still figuring some things out, but I think it's coming along. It's coming along pretty well. Next week we'll get even more and more together, and then who knows where we'll go. So I think I only have 9 minutes left. Let's see if we can have some kind of inspirational stuff to share. Trying to see if I can find something on my YouTube to share. There's so much that I have, but it's just like it's so much that's also like, okay, but it's an hour long, you know. Trying to just find something that is oh, here we go.
Hello, brains. ADHD.
Let's see. Let's activate it through the media request. If you type in !media request or !SR and then the YouTube link, then I can approve it directly through the stream and we can hang out and watch and have a good time. Was this an ad? I don't know what that is. I'm like, what is this? Is this... I'm like, what is going on here? Leave the tour. Oh, okay. That's what I was doing wrong. Okay. It's like picking it up in a weird way. All right. So it's added. Cool. Let's see if we can go into the media sharing. We're going to pause that. Show this.
ADHDers tend to be impulsive and
Hold on. Turn it up.
not just when we're buying office supplies. We are emotionally and socially impulsive too. Hello, brains. ADHDers tend to be impulsive and not just when we're buying office supplies. We are emotionally and socially impulsive too, which can make us a lot of fun when we're in a good mood. The problem is, we're not always in a good mood. Hello, brains. ADHDers tend to be impulsive, and not just when we're buying office supplies. We are emotionally and socially impulsive too, which can make us a lot of fun when we're in a good mood. The problem is, we're not always in a good mood. We get angry, we get frustrated, angry thoughts lead to angry actions, and we do things that end up costing us friendships, relationships, even our jobs. Afterward, we feel awful, we regret it, and then we do it again. It's not that we aren't smart or capable of making good decisions. As Dr. Russell Barkley puts it, ADHD is not an information deficit disorder. We know we shouldn't scream in the middle of class or hit another kid on the playground. We totally get that telling off our coworker is not acceptable behavior. The problem is, we get so mad that we can't control it. You know what I'm talking about. The kind of feeling that builds in the pit of your stomach and makes your teeth clench and absolutely want to destroy the person who... Well, actually, I did the research and it's not just you. Everybody gets that upset. What? How? Then why am I the only one in detention?
That was a really good transition.
You weren't the only one who wanted to flip a table when your teacher assigned extra homework. You're just the only one who did. Why? Because your brain is faster than your brakes. To help me explain, cool science stuff. Turns out, there's a part of the brain whose job it is to help us hold back emotions and actions when expressing them might not be the best idea. It's called the anterior cingulate cortex, or ACC. In neurotypical brains, it activates anytime they experience an emotional or social conflict. As in, they might want to hang up on their boss, but that could have consequences. Their ACC picks up on the fact that they're about to do something that could be bad for them and buys them time to think about how they want to handle the situation. That way, the part of the brain that knows they need that job and have plans to retire someday is able to step in and suppress those impulses. In a fight, the ACC would be the friend holding you back while your other friends talk some sense into you. The problem is, in ADHD brains, the ACC doesn't always work that way, or at all. In fact, according to Dr. Russell Barkley, in adult ADHD brains, the ACC appears to do nothing. Which means your other friend, the frontal lobe, might have some amazing wisdom to share, but with no one to hold you back, he won't have time to share it before you get punched in the nose. Dr. Barkley describes this as trouble with response inhibition. Dr. Hallowell calls it having a Ferrari engine brain with bicycle brakes. I call it being enthusiastic. Whatever you call it, it can be a problem for those of us with ADHD. So what's a brain to do? You gotta build up your brakes. Fortunately, there are plenty of ways to do this. Here are 5 ways we can help out our ACC. 1. Meditation. Hear me out. Meditation doesn't mean sitting still and clearing your mind of thoughts. It's just an opportunity to practice having thoughts and emotions without reacting to them. You know, the thing we're having trouble with? Plus, research has shown that meditation actually changes your brain, thickening the parts responsible for decision-making, maintaining attention, and taking action in line with our goals. In other words, the parts affected by our ADHD. If you haven't tried meditating yet, don't worry, it's way easier than you think. I explain more in this video. 2. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is simply being aware of your thoughts, feelings, and your body's reactions without judging them. The great thing about mindfulness is if you only remember to meditate when you're already about to scream at somebody or eat a box of cookies, it's not too late to use this technique. One of the
Did you hear that?
Meditating yet? Don't worry, it's way easier than you think. I explain more in this video. 2. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is simply being aware of your thoughts, feelings, and your body's reactions without judging them. The great thing about mindfulness is if you only remember to meditate when you're already about to scream at somebody or eat a box of cookies, it's not too late to use this technique. One of the easiest ways to do this is to focus on your breath. That's it. That's enough to activate your ACC. There's a link to a cute video on belly breathing in the description below. There's also this video. 3. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is a kind of therapy that focuses on how you process your thoughts and feelings in the present moment. Are you starting to see a pattern here? All of these methods are about creating some space between an event or an emotion and your reaction to it. Basically what most people's ACC does for them automatically. CBT is especially great for dealing with depression and automatic negative thoughts, but programs have been developed specifically for dealing with ADHD, emotional self-regulation, and impulse control. 4. Medication. Yeah, I don't talk about this much because I am clearly not a doctor. But I have to include it because for most people with ADHD, it's very effective. It can not only help us focus, it also helps with self-control. I'll include links to more information in the description below, but if you are considering medication, talk to a doctor, which I am not. Finally, 5. Exercise. Research suggests that physical activity can make a huge difference as well. Aerobic exercise like running, swimming, or dancing seems to have the most impact on ADHD symptoms overall, while mind-body exercise like yoga seems to have the biggest impact on self-regulation. So the next time you need to have a difficult discussion, try doing it in downward dog. And 6. If you find yourself judging yourself, remember that the emotions you're feeling are probably totally normal. You just have to work on your brakes. Of course, it also helps to have a backup plan for times when your brakes might fail. I'll go into that in another video. That's it for this week. Thanks for making it all the way through. This was a lot of information to cover, but really important. Let me know how your brakes have failed or saved you. Comment below or on Facebook or Twitter and leave me a question for question time. If you like what I do, subscribe. And if you love what I do, consider donating to our Patreon page so we can make even more videos. Bye, brains. Question time.
I like a lot of the information that she puts out. Whoa, just so I'm not screaming, sorry. I like a lot of the information that she puts out about ADHD, but that just happened to come across my YouTube videos. You know, it's always listening, I guess. But, you know, I shared the link. Here it is again, so that it pops up right there. that's the link to the actual video. The channel is called How to ADHD. She's very cool, has a lot of information. She has a whole team of people doing research, backing her up. Definitely check her out. It's very good information. A lot of interesting videos. But I have to pick up my son from school and initiate the weekend starting process. And for me, that means work and Dadder and work. And yeah, so that's about it. Guys, it's been a great week. I feel like I got a good amount of information out. If you don't feel that way, or you do, let me know in the suggestion box or the comments, or hit me up on any of my socials. I got this working, so do it. There you go. Hit me up on any of those, or right here in the Discord, and talk to me about it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you need to know. Let me know what you want to talk about. Let me know if you have any other ideas. We can always revisit these concepts at another time and talk about it further in more depth if you want to. But thank you for checking me out, either now or later. Follow me on my YouTube. Follow me, like, comment, subscribe, share it with everybody that you think could get some sort of benefit out of it. And I will talk to you guys 10 a.m. Monday morning. I hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy.